Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. Tonight I wanted to talk about some basic stuff, the elements and the modes. The elements. You recognize this picture. It is a picture of two large triangles superimposed over each other. It's also the seal of Solomon, the Star of David, the mark of Vishnu, and to me it is a picture of the basic chemical reaction of life. You've got fire and water equals air and earth. If you add heat to a solution, it will off-gas and cause a precipitate. Earth, air, earth. Look how they're derived. Is that lovely? An interesting thing about this little picture is that you add the area of the little triangles, and they equal the area of the inner hexagram. The elements are in trine to each other. I've got the elements colored alike, like the fire elements are Aries, Leo, Sag. They're in trine to each other. Trines are very stable aspects. They are a grand trine is a wonderful thing, especially if you've got some difficult aspects like squares or oppositions to the trine to make it work, because it tends to be lazy. It can get along without doing any work if it's not motivated by some outside energy. So trines are lovely, but hopefully you've got a square or an opposition to kick it into action, so it doesn't just sit there and watch TV and hum. The squares are brought to us by the modes of being. The cardinal signs are at the angles, and they are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And the cardinal signs are initiating signs. They respond to life by doing something about it. They're action-oriented. The fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And they are consolidating signs. They're beings, not doings. The mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And they are adjusting or responding signs. I puzzled over, when I was learning astrology, I puzzled over the difference between these modes of being. And then and I think that's what it's on the heads of the Demogorgon are cardinal, fixed, and mutable, the three modes of experience. Anyway, years ago I saw a movie with Bette Midler and Shelley Long, and I do not remember the name of the movie. Oh, Bette Midler. Bette Midler has a grand trine and fire, and obviously she's got some difficulties with it because she works that thing beautifully. Beautifully. Anyway, Bette Midler, Shelley Long, and they were being chased by Peter Coyote. At the end of the movie, which ends in Utah, Peter Coyote is chasing Shelley Long along this along a rock, top of a rock, and she comes to the end of the rock, and there's another smaller rock out there, and it's only 10 feet away. She, being a ballet dancer, makes the jump. And the jump is shot from below, and I suddenly understood cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Cardinal is where she pushed off against that first rock. Fixed, she's in the splits and she is flying, and all she has to do is hold it and go. Mutable, that's the landing she had to make on the other side. Anyway, the modes are square to each other. They're workers. The modes make you work. Squares make you work. Fire and air signs tend to be active and self-expressive. The water and earth signs are more passive and self-contained. Fire, now so let's talk about the balance here. It's nice to have a balance, but if there is an excess or a lack in the chart, it is very informative. An excess of fire, for instance, will make you restless, self-centered, passionate, true, but it's you got to be careful that you don't burn out, because fire does not know when to quit. If you don't have fire, you lack energy, you often lacks joy, you tend to be pessimistic, lacking in courage, lacking in faith. Air. Now, if you've got an excess of air, overthinking can really paralyze the will. It's hard to make decisions. Too much air can make you shallow, dilettante. It'll stimulate the nervous system, and definitely can be out of touch with the physical body. If you don't have any air, you're going to lack objectivity. You're going to be uncooperative in relationships. If you have an excess of earth, you tend to rely on appearances and tend to obsess with what works over what is right. Vision can be very narrow, lack of ideals, cynicism. A lack of earth is very, very ungrounding. It could be hard to grow up, hard to find something satisfying to do in this life, hard to find a work that fits you. Puer aeternus is what Jung called this problem. Excess of water. It's kind of like it'd be kind of a stormy life, rough waters. Extremely sensitive, oversensitive, yes. Apprehensive, self-protective, can result in compulsive behavior too. A lack of water, well, that's a lack of empathy, a lack of compassion. Can be out of touch with their own feelings, not unable to trust their intuition, fearful of pain. Why? Because water is the healing element. So it's hard to detox if you don't have water in your chart. Bill Clinton had that problem. Bill Clinton, if you'll have seen a recent picture of Bill Clinton, he looks sick. He's all dried up, a husk. He lacks water. That means he can't detox. He should just take long baths or something. Poor guy. A lack of earth. The puer aeternus, that's our current president, Donald Trump. He hadn't grown up. He's still in junior high school. Me, I've got too much fire. Because I have a lot of earth, I've managed to not burn out. But I am exceedingly restless, especially with Uranus in Aries now. It's got my nervous system kind of strung out. Anyway, pay attention to those things that are lacking in a chart. If you, for instance, you can, I've seen charts that'll lack a whole half of the chart, and that other half of the chart is muy important. For instance, I have a wonderful friend who had no air, and she was an excellent astrologer. But she compensated for this lack of air by having the biggest personal library I have ever seen. It was bigger as my house. Of course, I have a tiny house, but I mean seriously, that was a huge library. I only have one planet in air, which makes me feel I don't have enough air. And so I do collect books. I have quite a library. Nothing like Dee Davis's library, though. Hers was extraordinary. Anyway, it's been good to talk to you. Next time I think Halloween's coming up. Might be a good time to talk about one of my favorite subjects, death. Bye-bye.